Okay, part two. I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into what you can expect in these yoga sessions when I say the words meditation and journaling. I think yoga is pretty self-explanatory, especially for the yogis out there always going to the studio or doing yoga at home. But we don't always get into the meditation part of yoga, which is a key piece of yoga that so many studio classes are really missing. So the very first thing that we do when we start a session is we immediately go into a 10-minute meditation. And I guide you through that meditation. So if you're brand new to meditation, you've never done it before, it's okay. I promise I will walk you through it. I'd say about 90% of my clients, whether they're my group coaching, individual coaching, or yoga coaching, they've never done meditation before, and so I walk them through. And beginner meditation is something that I'm pretty good at and something that I like to share with people. The important thing to keep in mind when you're meditating, that I tell all of my clients, is that the goal is not to turn off your brain, because that's literally impossible. Like, you're never going to turn off your brain. You're always going to have thoughts coming up. The goal is to come back to your breath and release the thoughts as much as possible. So when I say the words come back to your breath, this is what I mean. If you're focusing on the inhale, focusing on the exhale, inhale, exhale, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, oh shoot, I didn't get to that one thing on my to-do list. And your mind starts wandering, you're like, I need to get up, I need to go do this, all these things. And you recognize that your mind has wandered, you think, I'm supposed to be meditating. All you have to do is come back to your breath. Come back to the inhale, come back to the exhale. And if you have to come back to your breath 100 times in a 5-minute meditation, it's totally fine. And you're still getting the benefits. Every single time that you come back to your breath, you're exercising that muscle and your brain is getting stronger, and it's gonna get easier every time, I promise. And the best part about working with me is that I cue the breath for you. And I cue you to come back to your breath. So if you've wandered, I don't let you get too far. I cue you to come back. And we have a dialogue after the meditation, and where you can tell me how it went, give me feedback. And if you're struggling with anything, I will give you advice, tips for the future. And I will also tailor the next meditation to help you with anything that you're struggling with. So it's kind of like having, the Calm app and everything in your back pocket, but also being able to talk to the person that created it and say, well, I didn't really, I couldn't really get into what you were saying here, or my mind really wandered here, and being able to adapt it to exactly what you need. And so that's a little bit about the meditation piece. And the last one is we always end with journaling. And so journaling can be a little overwhelming or intimidating at first if you've never journaled before. And that's totally understandable. I'd say most of my clients say, well, what do I write about? And the beauty of working with me is that you don't have to come up with that. I come up with that for you. I give you journal prompts based on what you've told me you want to work on, what your struggles are, what your goals are, and any mindset issues that have been coming up. So any fears that you've been having, any lack of confidence, lack of self-worth, we're really going to dive into that in the journaling piece. And so all of my clients for every single session have to have a notebook or a piece of paper and a pen, and we get really busy actually journaling and getting into action. And the reason that I do this is because it's super powerful, and I totally believe in journaling, and I do it every day. However, I find that just sending somebody a journal prompt or providing them with journaling prompt examples is helpful for some, but for most it's not that helpful because they aren't motivated enough to actually sit down and do it. So the beauty of a 75-minute session with me is that you get into action. You have to do it. You have to get into action. You can't just put it off for tomorrow or the weekend or this or that. And you actually start writing down the things. that you really want to do, or the things that you've been thinking of, or get things off of your mind. So the whole 75-minute session is really tailored to you, your needs, your goals, what you want to work on, and I get you into action. So that's the whole point. It gets you motivated, it keeps you motivated, I hold you accountable, and you really get a powerful transformation session in just 75 minutes. So please comment below any questions you have about meditation, journaling, or the sessions in general, and I'm happy to answer them. So I'm excited to get to work with many of you this month, and we'll talk soon.